Good morning. This is Ron Brown, and I'm going to begin my webinar series this week. The way I plan to do this is to put out a video on Saturdays, and the video will go to all members of the Insider Club. And I know some of you haven't signed up for the live sessions, and that's fine. You can follow along, but the reason I want to do it this way is to make sure that all of the insiders are aware of what I'm working on, and if you should decide that you want to join the webinar series as far as the live sessions, all you have to do is go to www.hgsinvestor.com. I'll write that down. And it's only $100, and I'm going to do this for, well, October, November. We may even get in December. I don't know. It just depends on how much there is to learn and teach. And I actually want this to be more of an interactive thing. I want feedback from you and what you'd like to see, and that's why I'm putting out the another reason I'm putting out the Saturday videos, so you can go ahead and see what I want to talk about in the upcoming live session. And if you have some suggestions or comments about what you would like to see, that's fine. That way we'll have fewer interruptions during the live session, and when I do these pre-recorded sessions, I won't have any interruptions. Sometimes it's really difficult during the live sessions because I'm trying to concentrate and questions are coming in, and I have to pause what I'm talking about or discussing at the moment and deal with that. So let's see how this format works out. Anyway, it's a bargain at $100. You can't go too wrong if you get one decent trade. You'll certainly make up that $100. So let's go ahead and talk about or I'm going to go ahead and talk about what I want to discuss this coming Thursday. So what am I going to do on Thursday? Well, first of all, we'll spend time with the new feature, the user smart groups. I did a video last week. It was just kind of a overview, and I've had another week to work with this. I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, and the advantages are that screens, for example, or scans that you use primarily can be created and used in the smart groups. Now I'm going to supply several with under this folder, the webinar smart groups. I may not keep all of these. I don't want to have too many, but I'm just trying to show you a variety of things that you can do with this. Now I'm not going to really get into the construction of these today. We'll do that on Saturday, but I just want to point out that I've tried to give us a variety of scans. We'll take a look at them as we go through this and find the most important ones. And if you, as a webinar attendee, if several people say that they think some of these smart groups are worthless, I'll just delete them, and then next time I put the ad on up there, I'll export these, and only the new webinar smart groups will appear. I'm just going to run through a few of these right now and give you an idea of what I'm doing. First of all, these are all stock related except this one right here. I have one customer who can only trade ETFs, and so I put this trending ETFs in here, and I'll show you how it's put together. I'm going to click up here on the Manage User Smart Groups, and I'll open the Webinar Smart Groups. The trending ETFs is down here. These are in alphabetical order. And I'll edit this. I have not added comments yet after I determine which of the smart groups I'm going to keep. I'll put some comments in here so newbies will understand what they are. First of all, my source group is ETF and ETN. The filter is Trending ETFs Smart Groups. And I want to point out that these filters are up here in a folder that I created, and that's to keep this organized. Otherwise, you know, I may miss some filters and so on, but if I know where everything is, then it's easy to find them. And the combo ranking is a VPA trend combo. It just puts the emphasis on the fan up, the short, long, and medium term best fit trends. And let's go back into that filter. The best fit long trend is up, so is the medium, so is the shorts, so is the fan, is an ETF. These two are really not even necessary, so I'm going to delete those. And say OK. And I don't need to rebuild the ETFs right now, and I'll just flip through to a view. This is a stock intraday view without the filter on, but this view really isn't appropriate for this smart group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a view for the trending ETF smart group. And the way I'm going to do that is I am going to click over here on the Choose Create Warehouse view, and I'm going to select Make from Filter. I'll go up under my name to the Webinar Smart Group Filters, and I'll locate the Trending ETFs SG, and these fields are added automatically. Now I want to add a few more fields. I want to put in raw combo, a raw combo rank, and let's see, percentage price change 1 day. Let's also add a RS rank. I'll just leave it down in this portion. And next I need to add a combo rank. Once again, I'm going to go to the webinar series folder, and it's a trend combo I'm using. Let's take a look at that. As of now, it just has short, long, medium, and fan uptrend. I'm going to make a modification in this in a minute. But let's just go ahead and apply this. And I want to move this. So I'm going to hold the Shift key down while I drag it down here to folder number 20, which is going to be your webinar files. And then I'm going to move it up to top-down process views for ETFs. And I see a couple of views that I don't need in here, so I'm going to delete them, and I'm going to make this 03. And I'll say OK. And this is a view that is made from the filter. Now notice over here in the raw combo rank, everything is 172. And that is the reason for that is I am using these trends plus the fan and everything's identical. So there's really nothing to differentiate these as of Friday's movement. Yes, there's a relative strength rank, but that really doesn't give us any insight. So what I'm going to do is I am going to edit the view. I'm going to go into the combo ranking, and I'm going to add a field to it. And it's going to be percentage price change 1 day, and I'll just weight it at 20%. Same as the rest of them. Okay, now when I apply this, I've already applied it. You can see now that the raw combo numbers are all different. And the reason for that is just that slight addition, which is a very important addition, by the way, to the view, or to the combo ranking, I should say. The percentage price change 1 day changed everything. Now I know, based upon this, that home builders were the strongest ETF yesterday based upon the percentage price change 1 day. So just by adding that one field, you can see that even though I weighted at only 20% of the weighting, it changed everything. There are four ETFs that were positive for the day, and the rest were negative. Home builders have been extremely strong. This is the Spider XHB, and the ITB is strong. Clean energy has been strong, and they're all sorted for me. Now when you get the add-on, when it's, and I can't ship the add-on out until the new version of the software is released, because the files will not be compatible with the version that you're currently using. When you do receive the upgraded software, you'll find this view, and I see I need to rename that. Put a space in there. Will be number 3 under the top-down process views for ETF analysis. I'm just going to have you drag these files down to the user section, or you can use them as they are in folder number 20. But these are the files that I'm going to be using for the webinar. These are the files that I'm using for my own analysis and prospecting, and everything else above up here can just you can forget about, because there's a lot of things in there that are also in folder number 20, but there's a lot of superfluous scans too, which I am not currently using. I don't want to destroy them because I may use them in the future. Let's take a look at a few of these charts here. You can see that this is clearly a trending chart, and let's go down here to the chart number 14. This is a daily trend chart, all trends up. This was a very strong trend in through here. Everything was green down here, and then we started moving into some chop, and the short term turned positive here. The medium term just turned positive, as you can see. So this is now again a trending ETF. Let's go down to the next one. Pretty much the same for home construction. A lot of chop in here, but now it looks like it's starting to break out again. This was choppy in through here. Not everything was trending. And a lot of chop here too. You can see that most of these have been chopping around, and they're just starting to trend again. The light gray, or lighter gray area up here, the gray area, indicates strong trends. Now, why is this black here? Well, the long-term trend was not up. This is a mathematical formula, but you know, if you were in this stock and or this ETF, I should say, and it started trending up here, you can see over here the long-term trend is considered down because of this. I'm sure that there would have been no reason to sell it, but it just wouldn't come up on the screen, the current screen that I'm using. It would have come up right here before the long-term trend turned down because of this downward shift. So yeah, you have to use judgment here, obviously. But what are we seeing out of these three views, or these three ETFs? If the market doesn't totally fall apart because of the coronavirus that President Trump has contracted, these trends could be starting again. So it's an opportunity to start a position if you want to, and control your risk. I imagine things are going to be pretty choppy for a while, but it's just a thought. Now, this is a pretty stringent filter, no question about it. All these three have to be up, 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 and the fan has to be up also. Remember, the fan is when the price of a security or stock or an ETF, a security is above the 18, 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. A stock is in a fan uptrend. Now, I can modify this, or we can add another smart group, which just requires that the ETFs be in a long-term uptrend based upon the fan, and forget the short term, or we can we could do one with a fan and also a short-term requirement where the fan is in place and the ETF just started moving up again. Let's see if I can find, right here would be one. You can see the short term is up, and then everything falls into place here. So that's a possibility. There's all kinds of possibilities with these user smart groups, and you know, I want your feedback on this. I want to know what you want to see, and we'll try to put them together as a class, or if I don't have time during the class, I'll just build them quickly and show you what I did. What I would like to accomplish with this webinar series, and these are just my initial thoughts. I want to spend a lot of time with VPA, volume price analysis. I'm going to spend some time with my Wyckoff demand scans that I put together, which are related to VPA, and we'll throw some Tom Williams scans in there too, and we're going to talk a lot about setups, and we're going to do some, or I'm going to do some trading. Now, I will of course use my risk spreadsheet. I don't think I have it open here. Yes, I do. It's in the other window. We'll be using this to position size, and not all stocks or position sizes are going to be based upon low risk entries, because there are too many trades that are already going that I may want to get into. The entry will be relatively low risk, but let's take a stock which I missed. I was actually in it a long time ago. I think it's JTK. No, JTK is a local restaurant. Sorry, it's a JKS. And look at this. This thing took off here. The trends all turned positive. The group is extremely strong, and it has just been going up. Now, this would be a relatively low risk entry after the trade has taken off. It's not a low pivot, obviously. Well, I don't believe it's a low pivot. We can look at chart number 9. No, it's no low pivot, but look at all this volume coming into the stock, and the spread between the 3 and the 6, and the 6 and the 18. Very, very strong. And this is a clear sign of demand. Now, I'm going to just slip down here to my Wyckoff demand charts. I'll go to chart number 1. Look at all this demand. Each one of these are demand bars. Now, where do you get into a stock like this? Well, you get in right here with a buy stop. I've watched this stock go up and up. Here's another opportunity right here. It's not a low pivot. It's a stock on the move with heavy demand, and I'll be looking at some stocks like this and trying to find entry points like this. It's relatively safe to get into these if you put your buy stop above the prior day's high, and you just hope for the best. And rather than using the spreadsheet to determine risk based upon a high percentage, it may make more sense just to go ahead and put a trailing stop of $1.50 on at the time, and hope that the momentum continues. If I were to use the tool here to determine risk, let's say on this one right here. I'll zoom in on this as close as I can. Put this here, and let's see, the buy point would be above the prior day's high. So the risk is only 8.05%. That's not bad. Make this a little bit clearer for you. So you can see the risk amount is right here. The buy point would be approximately 33.84. And that way I would have been in. So yeah, I could use this as a stop down here, and knowing that I'm risking 8.1%. It's actually a pretty high number, but at least you have the opportunity to get into a stock like this rather than watching it go up every day. If you're not comfortable with that number, you just come in here. Let's say you use the open of the prior day, and you can cut that risk down to 5.05%. If it reverses, if it's a false breakout and reverses, you're out of it and you can give it another go later. But this volume, this extreme volume coming in, tells you that there is a lot of demand for a stock like this. These are all things that we're going to be talking about during the webinar, and hopefully putting on some trades similar to this if we can find some of these stocks. Where do you find stocks like this? Well, the Wyckoff demand scan is good. The VPA flags, very good, especially the effort to rise. There's nothing on these two except it would have shown up with the demand scan. How do I know? Because the background's green. Here's an effort to rise. This is why I like to scan both with the demand scan and the effort to rise. Do them on the same day, but generally if you have a effort to rise, you're going to have demand like back here. It didn't work out here, did it? Didn't work out here either. This is not a demand. This is a effort to rise and a demand scan. But notice back here, volume was relatively light. It's when you get these big volume bars, and this is after earnings, by the way. That's what really shot this stock up. And let's see what the look at the earnings progression here. That's why this stock is moving. Earnings still do matter. Look at the PE on this. So it's still this stock can go a lot higher, and we'll take a look at it this Thursday, and maybe look for an opportunity to get in. You don't have to take a full position either, since it's getting to the point which could be considered extended, but those are the kind of things that I want to look at during this webinar, and risk some money on trades similar to this. Now, we have all kinds of stock scans in here, user groups. These are some of the that I've been working on. What are my favorites so far? I like Perfect Speculator, as you know, and I like Perfect Speculator pullback. And the reason I like this is these are stocks that have had a recent 52-week high, and they've pulled back. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here. And I'll just go to I put some black charts in here. I like black charts with the horizontal and vertical lines in here. But here's the pullback. That's kind of a loose chart. I'm not crazy about this. It's a biotech. Not crazy about that one either. Boston Beer's too expensive. It's a good example though. New high, pullback, moving up. Didn't make a lot of progress. Okay, now here's one that hit a 52-week high. Going to go to the weekly bar. Probably easier to see this. So here's your recent high, and then the pullback on the daily chart, and there's an opportunity here if this can break out. So this is a stock that should be watched if it can clear the prior day here. You've still got overhead resistance back here, but it hasn't really fallen. It's trading in a range here, and there's a good chance that it could go higher. It's communications equipment, a relatively new stock. Let's look at one more place here. Diamond Peak Holdings. Nice strong chart. Nasty pullback, a bounce, and it's pulling back again. But notice that it opened here and closed here. I'm not really finding one that, this one's pretty decent. GameStop Corporation, 52-week high here, pulling back. Ideally, you want it to clear the 52-week high to get rid of the overhead resistance. Tough day on Friday. It's really hard to find anything here. This one's trading near the top of the range here. Looked like it was setting up here, but it was just dragged down by the market on Friday. Another one. We'll look at this on Thursday also to see if there's anything. But what this smart group does is it takes all of these stocks, 260, and it just looks for the stocks that have pulled back. Now you can use this Perfect Speculator, which, as you know, it lists stocks that recently hit a 52-week high. You can go into a view, and let me just go down here to, I'm going to go down to what I call, sorry, I shouldn't have closed that. My early morning process, and I know I have a 52-week high scan in here. So these are stocks within the perfect speculator that are hitting 52-week highs today. And you can see that JKS is in there. Renewable, Hibbett Sports had a nice pullback the other day, and it broke out again. Here's PACB. Look at this. I'm in this one, by the way. Very strong chart. Seems to be getting a little extended. It got an upgrade on Friday is why it's continues to go. But even without that upgrade, this has been a massively successful stock. Here is a low volume test and a confirmation of that test. Look at this. Effort to rise also. A little bit of selling here. That's why the red circle. Effort to rise again. So we can use this perfect speculator view to, or I should say smart group, to look at stocks that are hitting 52-week highs. Not only the stocks that are hitting 52-week highs, but the stocks that have pulled back, and that's what the smart group just below it is. I think I'll end this video right now. There's plenty to talk about in the live session, and I hope I've given you some insight into the smart groups. This webinar series will not be all about smart groups, but I believe as we go along and really find out what appeals to you, we can make smart groups for most anything, and really cut down on the prospecting for everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll send out a notice on Thursday or before Thursday. The time will be 2:30 Central Time. I'll provide a link to those who have registered. I'm not going to do it today because I know a few people are going to sign up yet. Thanks for listening, and have a good rest of the weekend.